Most sold games of the century. Video games have traditionally been associated with being created just for children or nerds. However, it is unquestionably not the case today. The culture of video games has become widespread. The global popularity of e-sports has surpassed that of the majority of real-life sports and is increasing at an astonishingly fast rate. The video game industry has grown to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, which needs no further explanation. The market is among the most fiercely competitive ones out there. In this video, we discuss the top 10 all-time best-selling video games worldwide as well as the ranking of the best-selling video games. Number 10. Terraria. In the sandbox action-adventure game Terraria, players can explore and take advantage of a dynamic, randomly created world. American software developer Andrew Spinks created the game, and his private company Logic is the publisher. In 2011, it was originally made available on the Windows platform, and it was afterward made available on all other significant gaming consoles. Minecraft, another sandbox game that was published the same year as Terraria, is frequently contrasted with it. Terraria, while not quite as well known as Minecraft, has now sold almost 44 million copies worldwide and is now included in the top 10 all-time best-selling video games. Number 9. Red Dead Redemption. The follow-up to the action-adventure Red Dead game series is called Red Dead Redemption 2. The game has around 45 million copies sold globally, earning it a spot among the top 10 best-selling video games of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2, a Rockstar Studios computer game, is traditionally set in a vast open world, much like the studio's even more popular title GTA. In Red Dead Redemption 2, the plot centers on Arthur Morgan, a member of the Van der Linde gang who attempts to flee from the police when a robbery goes wrong. The year of the game is 1899, and the American Southwest is where most of the gameplay takes place. The gameplay of Red Dead Redemption 2 enables players to engage with characters and delve into narrative elements. The user can also engage in other activities like fishing and hunting, playing poker, and interacting with arbitrary NPCs that live in the open world's villages and campsites. Number 8. Pokémon Red and Blue. For Nintendo's portable Game Boy device, the first Pokémon games were initially published in Japan in 1996. Originally known as Pocket Monsters, it later went by the name Pokémon. Game Freak, a Japanese video game developer, produced 3 variations of the game, Red, Blue, and Green. The game was then released in red and blue variants for its 1998 international release, later completed by an additional yellow version. With close to 48 million copies sold, the first Pokémon game is still the most popular. Number 7. Mario Kart 8. The 8th Mario Kart game in the Mario Kart series was initially released in 2014 for the Wii U gaming system by Nintendo. The game is not just the most popular in the Mario Kart series and among the best-selling video games overall, but it is also the most popular and most played racing game in history, with sales of about 55 million copies worldwide. Number 6. Super Mario Bros. Nintendo created and released the platform game Super Mario Bros. In 1985. At the time of its debut, it was the most popular video game ever made for the Nintendo Entertainment System (NES). Around 58 million copies have now been sold worldwide. The game also introduced the world to Super Mario, an Italian plumber, who went on to become one of the most well-known and recognizable video game characters of all time. After the introduction of Super Mario Bros., one of the most popular video game series ever was born. The best-selling title in the franchise, however, continues to be the initial release from the beginning. The plot centers on Mario's struggle to save Princess Peach from King Koopa's turtle army, which had kidnapped her. As Mario explores the Mushroom Kingdom, players take control of him as he battles foes and collects power-ups that open up new worlds. Running, jumping on enemies' heads, picking up objects to use as weapons or missiles, smashing blocks with your feet or jumping off them, and collecting money were just a few of the novel ideas that the game introduced at the time. Number 5. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The fifth and final game in the top 10 best-selling video games of all time is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The game, which was only released in 2017, has already amassed sales of almost 70 million copies worldwide. The South Korean video game studio PUBG, which is a subsidiary of the same South Korean video game company Bluehole, designed and developed the game with a battle royale theme. Only multiplayer mode is available for the cross-platform game. A typical battle royale scenario pits players from across the globe against one another in an open world that is shrinking over time until there is nowhere to hide. The victor is the final survivor standing. Number 4. Wii Sports. Nintendo, a Japanese video game juggernaut, dominated the industry in the 1980s and 1990s. But at the beginning of the 21st century, the competition was escalating, particularly from Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo yearned for a fresh, cutting-edge game idea. And as usual, the business was able to accomplish that. The Nintendo Wii, a new video game console from Nintendo, was unveiled in 2006. The Wii can be controlled by player movement thanks to a sensor built into the console's controller that recognizes three-dimensional movements. Wii Sports was the first game released for the Wii machine, thus it is not unexpected that 83 million copies of the game were sold globally. The Wii console's games, including Wii Sports, immediately became known throughout the world for being liked party games for players of all ages. The game was and still is only playable on a Wii console, like all Wii games. Number 3. Tetris. Tetris has only recently been eclipsed by Minecraft as the third most popular video game in history. Alexei Pajitnov, a Russian software programmer, developed the game in 1984. The Soviet Union's Academy of Sciences, which was still in existence at the time, was the employer of the creator. His initial assignment was to create a program that would enable the Academy's computing center to test recently created hardware. In other words, Tetris wasn't always intended to be a game, but rather a way to evaluate the software. However, Pajitnov soon discovered that his co-workers liked his program. The program was then turned into a game called Tetris. With the help of his co-workers and the approval of his bosses, a portmanteau of the geographic-shaped tetramino and the sport of tennis. Number 2. Grand Theft Auto 5. The second most sold video game of all time is Grand Theft Auto 5. It also joins Tetris and Minecraft as the only video games to have sold more than 100 million copies globally, with a total of almost 170 million copies sold. The Grand Theft Auto series, which includes GTA 5, is one of the most well-known and successful video game franchises in history. American video game studio Rockstar Games created GTA 5 in 2013. Even though Rockstar, which is owned by gaming behemoth Take-Two Interactive, is now recognized for other enormously famous titles, the GTA franchise continues to be practically synonymous with the firm. In the open world action adventure game GTA 5, players can choose from 3 different characters, each of whom has a separate backstory and set of skills. Number 1. Minecraft. Video games have traditionally been associated with being created just for children or nerds. However, it is unquestionably not the case today. The culture of video games has become widespread. The global popularity of e-sports has surpassed that of the majority of real-life sports and is increasing at an astonishingly fast rate. The video game industry has grown to be a multi-billion-dollar industry, which needs no further explanation. The market is among the most fiercely competitive ones out there. Only 3 video games in history have sold more than 100 million copies of a single game, even though hundreds of millions of video games are distributed annually. The top 10 video games that have ever sold the most copies worldwide are listed here along with the titles that came in the first place. Do you like this video? Make sure to post your opinion in our comments section below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.